Welcome back. I hope you had a tremendous weekend. We're going to go right into chapter 11. We have one more after this as a part of part 2 before we get into part 3. So back to chapter 11, which is titled Seize the Offensive. So the chapter begins by talking about Barack Obama, the 44th president and first African American ever to take the Oval Office. And it started talking about his 2008 campaign when he had a pastor who was helping with his campaign who had made some kibitz remarks that really almost derailed everything that he had worked for up to that point. And against everybody's advice and judgment, Barack Obama decided to face it head on. He wanted to challenge it. He didn't want to run away from anything that would have been out there. And that's exactly what he did. And it actually led to his famous speech, what they called a more perfect union. And it was all about just facing it head on. And as a result of that, it brought about a new energy to the entire campaign. And the rest became history, where he was sworn in as the 44th president. And it really, I think it ties into something that we believe in as a football program, talking about no excuses, no explanations. Like we gotta face whatever our hand is, whatever we get dealt to us, we gotta face it head on. And I think Barack Obama, during that 2008 campaign, embodied the perfect example of that. So then to really get into the chapter, just talking about whenever disaster strikes, whenever there are things that happen that people tend to want to run away from, that's when we need to find it within ourselves and press forward and just keep moving in that direction when everybody else sees these obstacles as hindering our progress, everything that we're working towards. Because again, when these obstacles come up, it's all about perception. They are neither good nor bad. It's how we perceive them. So again, training our minds to act based on the perception that is neither good nor bad, right? It is just, then we take the positive outlook on it, and that's the way we continue to move forward. Because most ordinary people are going to shy away from any type of negative situation that they're put in. But on the other hand, great people, they use that to their advantage, and they actually become their best in these types of situations, and that's really important to understand. And then again, just back to seeing opportunities in any problems that we come up to, anything that we face. And that's something that we can train. Like seeing anything that could be perceived as negative by ordinary people. Like we need to begin and continue to train ourselves to see this as an opportunity, as something that we can get better from. And that's special. Not everybody has that ability, and not everybody wants to be able to think like that either. So it's really important that we continue to do so that way. And Napoleon uses an example back whenever, just talking about war, whenever two bodies crash, naturally people are going to want to fear that, right? It's naturally going to spark fear. And the great ones, they're going to use that as an advantage. They're going to take advantage as soon as they feel or sense the fear in somebody else. Like they know they have the advantage right then and there. And I think that's huge as well. And then the chapter dives into what they call decision points. And they're crucial moments in any circumstance or any happening that has a big factor in the deciding outcome of what will be. And when you have these decision points, great commanders or great leaders, they're able to channel all of their energy. They're able to use everything inside of them, a lot of willpower, and use it to their advantage and really create positive action from them, which is awesome, which is outstanding. And I think we can apply that to ourselves as well. You just think about, just take a football game and how important the emphasis that we place on the final 4 minutes before the half, right? And a lot of teams will lay up at that time, especially if they understand they're getting the football back at the start of the second half, excuse me. Whereas we want to take the other approach, right? We want to be as aggressive as possible, and we want to be able to score, possibly get the ball back and score again or whatever it might be. But we want to end the first half with the ball in our hands and then get the ball at the beginning of the second half as well to get a 2-for-1. That's the goal. And those are what, like we're talking about decision points. I think that's very applicable to the circumstance I just gave. And then when these negative moments, just to end out the chapter, this was a long one, just talking about whenever negative moments they arise, like we need to be able to transcend ourselves. So now not only are we looking at them as opportunities, right? But now if we can look at them as opportunities to transcend ourselves into something much greater, then we can become very, very powerful. And I think that's ultimately the goal, especially in circumstances like this, the situations that we're given right now. If we can use this to transcend ourselves, I think we got a really, really strong shot of doing something special this year. Because we don't want to just turn these situations upside down and make them a positive. But if we can take this approach and take these opportunities and let them catapult us into something farther than we've ever even thought we were capable of achieving, then I think we got something special on the rise. It's chapter 11. We'll finish out part 2 tomorrow, and then we'll get into part 3, and I'm really excited for that. So you guys text me with any questions you might have on the chapter, and have a great day. Talk to you soon.